When you're learning music, sometimes a teacher might say, I want you to memorize this lesson. At the Players, I say to you, don't memorize anything. Everything I say is like against what goes on in the grain of music. The reason I don't want you to memorize anything is because memorization of music is automatically built in to the pursuit of it. And I'll go with anything. I know this, that nobody has deliberately memorized a recipe. I know that no one has deliberately memorized the route to your friend's house when driving. I know that nobody has deliberately memorized anything at all that hasn't automatically come into memory. Except, of course, what? Lines in a play, perhaps songs that you're going to be doing if you have songs that you're going to be playing on a show, so you memorize it. When people emphasize memorization in learning outside of the performance, it's a statement that doesn't make any benefit to you. You don't have to memorize anything ever, in my opinion. And the reason again is when you read music and you learn it and you pursue it, you are automatically, level by level, piece by piece, committing to memory. By the sheer dint of the practice, you're going to memorize your music. You're going to become a musician of great capability because it's automatically becoming a part of you. Why do you have to memorize anything? Some people say, because then, well, I'll learn the exercise. And I say, why do you need to memorize the exercise? Read the exercise. Repeat the exercise. Exercises are not meant, now check this out, to be used in professional ways. Music that you learn is not meant to transfer over into professional music. And here's why. If I'm studying, again, if I'm playing this line as a study exercise, what gig is that applicable in? What gig is this applicable in? What gigs are these usable? What gig uses an F scale? What gig uses a G scale? The answer is practically no gigs. Practically no gigs utilize these elements that you study. The thing that many teachers have not told you is what you study is not what you use. You don't practice for the gig, you practice for the instrument. You don't practice for the gig, you practice for the artful understanding and the artful growth that you get in a relationship with the instrument. That's what practice is. That's why you don't need to memorize anything. Memorization is automatically built in, unless there's a gig Saturday night, there's some tunes here. I would say many people watching this don't work professionally. If you do, you may recognize that you'll have to read on the gig, or if you're in a self-contained band, you'll rehearse. If you rehearse, you have a chance to commit to memory the music automatically anyway. So as a learning musician, again, if you may have caught on by now, I separate categories. As a learning musician, don't memorize. My suggestion, practice, repeat, read, make mistakes. Mistakes is built into learning, and you can't avoid them, and I can't avoid them. Musicians make mistakes in music. Can't stop it. Impossible. The lottery is more sure. You cannot stop mistakes in music. Cannot be done. Don't try. When it happens, you may repeat that mistake 12, 15, 16 times. It doesn't matter, because in my mind, you needed 17 times to get it. If you make that error 16 times, that's what it was necessary. You're going to have to get into the situation and get into the practice to come out clean. And that's what a musician does. And by doing that, you get better in pieces, you get better in continuous levels, and you don't have to suffer a sort of unnecessary element of memorization because it's automatically built in.